Expedition 33 is a phenomenal experience and it deserved to win big at the Game Awards, but this has infuriated a lot of people on the internet. And now, not only are sensitive snowflakes on social media freaking out, but the access media is too. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, these types of people always find something to complain about, and this time it's that Claire Obscura Expedition 33 isn't either a good enough game, or it's unfair that it won multiple awards, or that it absolutely robbed other titles. And listen, it's fine if you liked other games too. In 2025, I personally did. I thought Silksong should have won maybe one more award, like in the indie category, but at the same time, I'm not mad that Expedition 33 won all of these different things because it deserved it. It was very tough competition this year for the biggest titles, and some people just cannot fathom the idea that Claire Obscure won. And yeah, every year there's some kind of upset. Last year, I thought Black Myth Wukong definitely should have won over Astrobot, but at the end of the day, I don't really take these award shows too seriously. Yeah, it's nice when your favorite game wins and gets recognition, but it's not like it affects the developers at all whatsoever. It's not like it changes their life and they win $1 million for, if they get Game of the Year. But now the access media is saying that, oh my gosh, this is so unfair. It didn't deserve all of these wins, which is so funny. This one is by Windows Central. It says Expedition 33 absolutely robbed the Game Awards nominee of a win. It didn't deserve this award. They could have just put the name of the game, but because they need your click, they didn't. It says, okay, so before the entire internet busts out the torches and pitchforks and sentence me to death, I want to make something clear. I love Expedition 33. It is a beautiful game and a tremendous achievement for the fledgling team at Sandfall Interactive. However, I don't believe it deserved to win Best RPG Award, which it of course did, along with 8 others, including Gaudi. It was up against the likes of Avowed, The Outer Worlds 2, and Monster Hunter Wilds, and while I think you could argue that any one of these 3 had stronger RPG systems than 33, Outer Worlds 2 especially, there's one nominee that handily beats it in this respect, and that's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I know Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has a lot to offer. I know a lot of people really loved it, but first of all, Avowed was terrible, The Outer Worlds 2 was mediocre, and Monster Hunter Wilds was broken as hell at release. That would be like the year No Man's Sky released and giving that tons of awards. It's just not fair. And sure, Monster Hunter Wilds has been fixed quite a bit since then, but there's still problems with the game, and overall it did disappoint fans, but Avowed and Outer Worlds 2 in no way, shape, or form could stand against Expedition 33, and I would agree that yes, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 comes the closest, but ultimately, I still think that Expedition 33 deserved to win. This person can have their opinion, but it just goes to show that they are so furious that their favorite game didn't win that they're sitting here saying, there's no way, man, that E33 could ever beat out Kingdom Come Deliverance, and it's like they're saying that it was rigged in E33's favor, and they even say that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 systems, heavy depth is far more impressive, its adventures through medieval Bohemia feature a ridiculous amount of options to approach problems with, crunch to engage with in a world that's remarkably reactive to your presence and your choices. And then you have indie games saying Claire Obscure Expedition 33 didn't deserve to win Best Indie Game of the Year. That there will surely be plenty of debate around this topic, but it's hard to ignore the bitter taste left when the award for Best Indie Game of the Year is placed in a pre-show instead of the main program, as if indie games aren't important enough, or maybe I'm overthinking it and this was simply an attempt to fill space. Still, half of the Game of the Year nominations were indie titles anyway, and then among the nominees for Best Indie Game of the Year, we had Absolume, Ball Pit, Blueprints, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, prompting the question, is Expedition 33 even an indie title? Yes, indie does not mean individual, it means independent. They did not have $100 million from investors and external sources. They did not have a publisher. They were a small team of people with a limited budget under $10 million. Yes, they are indie, and if you are counting this as an indie game, which they're saying we shouldn't, which is ridiculous, it deserved to win. I do think that, in my opinion, it would have been cool for Silksong to win in this category because Silksong was so amazing too. And this is really the only category I think that Silksong and Expedition truly were hand in hand, because for something like Game of the Year, I definitely think that it was Expedition. For music, I definitely think it was Expedition. For art style, it was definitely Expedition. But to sit here and then say, oh, it's not indie because I don't like it as much as these other titles is wild to me. It just shows how salty they are, how petty they are, how insane these people really are. Now you have an EGW article. I've never heard of them, but it popped right up on Google, so I suppose it's getting a little bit of traction. Expedition 33 has broken the record during the Game Awards. The creation of Sandfall Interactive Studio has won 9 of the 13 awards it was nominated, beating The Last of Us Part 2 that won 7 awards in 2020. However, not all fans like this result, especially some users on X social media stated some big titles like Death Stranding 2, Yote Split Fiction, Dispatch, and even Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 hasn't won anything because of Claire Obscure Expedition 33. So they wrote this entire article about how fans are divided, but really they link to one single post. Yes, they show off some of the responses, but either way, it's on one single post. And yeah, I think that there's people that love Yote. There's people that love Death Stranding 2. There's people that love Split Fiction. I thought Split Fiction was still going to be in the Game of the Year running until we got to about October. But yeah, there's no way that these games are better than E33, and you can have your own opinion, but there's a reason why this title is sweeping right now. I mean, it also had dominated the Golden Joysticks, which I have talked about, but it swept big in multiple categories. You had it winning everything it was initially nominated for: Best Storytelling, Visual Design, Soundtrack, Performer, Supporting Performer, and it was a great experience. But there are so many people out there who are so bothered by it. They're even going as far as to insult the developer, saying that they are cocky French people. They're saying that Sandfall, of course, isn't indie, and so they should have this prize ripped away from them. Like, you are going very far in order to attack a game that you just don't like. And this image is perfect. Hating popular things doesn't make you an interesting person. It just makes you sound extremely salty. There are snowflakes saying congrats to the white person game. Yeah, just boiling its success down to the skin color of its characters and the sexuality of its characters. They say that they are not the tourists. They say that they are real gamers, but really they are proving that they are anything but. So yes, Expedition 33 is causing quite a stir on social media, quite a lot of controversy, and now even the Access media is coming out saying Expedition 33 didn't deserve to win, which isn't shocking given if the AAA industry falls, they become completely irrelevant. The only reason why they are the media still is because they get access, they get early codes, they get interviews, and they shill for these companies, and it makes them look good in these companies' eyes. And if the Ubisofts go under, if the EAs go under, if the BioWares and the Obsidians disappear tomorrow, they no longer have any sort of relevancy. And I think that we need to see that major shift. I think that we need to see the AAAs out. We need to see the double A's moved up to triple A's, the indies moved up to double A's, and it's easy to ignore triple A's now, but they need these companies to survive so that they can still have a job, even though I don't think that's going to be for much longer, given 50% of the video game journalists have been laid off or fired in the last 2 years. But that's why they're so angry at Claire Obscure's success. They're upset that titles like Concord and Avowed aren't doing better, because really, at the end of the day, wow, is the success of indies and double A's not a good look for them and their narratives. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.